Hey everyone, it seems like there's information about COVID-19 everywhere. It's on social media, media in general, it's what everyone seems to be talking about, and rightly so. However, I'm concerned that most of the information out there isn't necessarily true. Some of it is misinformation and some of it is just incomplete, resulting in a lot of uncertainty, fear, and anxiety in some people. So I thought, instead of creating another informational video, because let's be honest, we have enough people telling us how to wash our hands correctly, I thought I'll instead create a video answering questions that you may have about the COVID-19 situation. So last week I put up an anonymous question sticker on my Instagram story and I had a lot of questions pouring in. Chances are if you're thinking something, a lot of other people are thinking the same way. So thank you for taking the time to send in your questions. Before we get started, I have two things to tell you. Number one, I've listed down a couple of valid resources that I've used over the past few days to keep myself updated and also to make sure that whatever answers I'm providing in this video are correct. Number two, all the information in this video is current as of March 24th, 2020. All right, let's jump right into it. The first question is, what are the possibilities of COVID-19 being a man-made bioweapon? What we need to understand is that COVID-19 is a disease caused by a coronavirus called SARS-CoV-2. And SARS-CoV-2 is just one of the many other coronaviruses that exist out there, because coronavirus is just a family of viruses. Now, SARS-CoV-2 being a man-made bioweapon, highly unlikely because there's no real evidence pointing to it. There is evidence, however, of SARS-CoV-2 being a zoonotic virus, which means that it has transmitted from animals to humans. So the theory about SARS-CoV-2 being a biological weapon, highly unlikely. Next question, is there a need to panic? No, panicking is not good under any circumstance. Stay on high alert, stay updated, but don't panic, don't live in a state of constant fear. What advice do you have for cold, flu? Should they self-isolate? The cold and flu are also respiratory conditions, so chances are that there will be symptoms that may overlap with COVID-19. What you're looking out for is a dry cough, fatigue that's more than usual, if there's an onset of fever, and especially if you come down with some kind of breathing difficulties. But initially, when you have symptoms that are similar to a common cold or a flu, call a doctor over the phone. Don't turn up at the hospital or don't turn up to your local clinic, because most of the time this is a self-limiting disease. Having said that, make sure that you don't go beyond 5 days if those symptoms persist. Make sure that you contact your doctor. There are a couple of similar questions, so I'm just going to answer them in one go. How is COVID-19 spreading so rapidly? What makes COVID-19 so dangerous? And how does this virus spread? To answer this question, we need to understand how the virus spreads and how quickly it can spread. We understand that the virus spreads through droplet transmission, which means that if you're infected and you cough, every single cough contains thousands of viral particles that can affect other people around you. It may also spread if somebody touches a surface where a virus has recently landed, but surfaces cannot hold viruses as long as human bodies can, because human bodies play as host to the virus. How quickly the virus spreads depends on us and depends on how efficiently we're maintaining social distance. How do I protect myself and others if I have to go to work? If you have to go to work, chances are you are somebody that works with essential services. So wear a mask if you're a healthcare worker. Wash your hands for 20 seconds the correct way. Also, maintain a social distance as much as possible. I know that's hard sometimes. And if you are going to cough, use a disposable piece of tissue paper or just do it in your elbow like that. Little things like that really help. How can we stop the stigma targeted towards certain ethnic groups? Stigma is associated with a lack of knowledge of COVID-19, and it's laced with the fear of people dying. And stigma has nothing to do with the person that the stigma is directed towards. And if you are doing that, or if you notice someone doing that, it's just racism in plain words, and it's not cool. don't do it. And if you see it happening, speak up, because the virus is not going to discriminate who it affects. It affects all humans, and the only way to deal with this virus is to be unified. What are some tips to protect mental health during these difficult times? Okay, this question is so important, and I'm in two minds about possibly making a different video just for this question. But I'd say, firstly, stick to sources that are valid. Stay on top of what your government's trying to do so that you can help as much as possible in terms of containing the virus. At some point or the other, we've all wished for extra time to get back to that old hobby, or try a new one, or call that friend that we haven't spoken to in years. Well, this is that time, and doing all these things will benefit your mental health.